And we have a pre-summit meeting, you know, and we have about 300, 400 of our closest friends in the room. And it's funny, every time I mention somebody, or every time I mention Virginia or Baltimore or D.C. or anything, this big group of rowdy kids gets up in these red shirts and they do the or it's the blue shirts. Would y'all do the blue shirts? Yeah. And I was like, come on, Texas, why can't you do that? So I felt like I built a great team down there. A couple thousand people down there. I was like, why? What? We don't even get to eat hawks. So I was like, I gotta get up there and see what they're drinking. Anyway, like Chris said, my name is Robert Hudgens, and just to kind of give you a little history for our guests that are in the room. I came in, I was introduced to Beachbody it was actually back in 2005. I was, a little bit of history about myself. I was a firefighter and paramedic down in the Dallas area. We made the decision to move to a small town up in northeast Iowa called Decorah. It's about 6,000 people, and it usually is about wintertime 6 months out of the year. So don't ask me why we moved there.
It's a way in decision, huh?
Yeah.
Everything makes sense to do it.
So anyway, the biggest reason, quite frankly, was my kids. I have a 7-year-old son and I have an 11-year-old son. And at the time, actually, my oldest was 4 years old and my youngest was 4 weeks old. Is because as a firefighter, and Francis can vouch for this, and Charles can vouch for this, is we get to see the stuff that you don't see on the news, and it's usually worse. And I didn't want to raise my kids in an environment, so we moved up there. So after we moved up there, and as a firefighter, I was making pretty good money working the third of the year. My wife was in sales, making 6 figures. We had a great life. We moved to Decorah, Iowa. My wife opened a little small boutique clothing store in a small town of about 4,500, 5,000 people. And I was a paramedic making less than $14 an hour. We went from a lifestyle like this to making this, but still trying to live this lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So when that happens, there's a lot more month at the end of your money, as you probably heard. We were broke. And I mean, when I mean broke, I don't mean like, man, we can't afford to go to the movies this week. We'll have to wait till next week. I'm talking spread your bills out on the table and pick which one you're going to pay, and the rest have to wait. I'm talking about, trying to decide when you're going into Walmart and you can't even buy the crappiest toilet paper that they sell because you can't afford it. And my wife, when her dad is a multimillionaire, and I go to him and have to ask for him for a loan to help pay our bills, and you want to talk about, guys, can I get a witness about how unhappy that is to sit in front of your father-in-law and say that you can't support his daughter? And you think she's happy? This wasn't what she signed up for. I'm good, but I'm not that good. So, I tell you this is that it was amazing how I kind of lucked my way into this, I guess you say. I don't believe in luck. I was blessed to be part of this because I actually came across P90X. Everybody talks about P90X. I actually came across it on the internet. It had just been released. I was actually looking for an ephedra-based fat burner. And because that was the only So, and they didn't have it back then. But I didn't, what year? It's 05. I don't know. They had just banned ephedra, so I was looking for some good stuff to use, and I saw P90X. I saw it's got an X. It must be really good stuff. And so I clicked on it. It came up with the P90. It came up with P90X. I read it. Got involved in message boards. Started reading about it. About some of the different things. And lo and behold, I ordered it. It was a lot more expensive back there. It was about $280 back then. And that's $280 that we didn't have. I just happened to have a little bit left on a credit card that I could put it on. And ordered it, much to the chagrin of my lovely wife. She wasn't happy with me. But I said, hey, babe, if it doesn't work, I'll return it. Just got a money back guarantee. after about 2 weeks, I threw away everything. I was like, this is the real deal. And in 90 days, like you were saying, I had a terrific transformation. I went from 225 to about about 208. So I didn't lose a ton of weight. I lost 8 inches off my waist. I went from 25% body fat down to 8% body fat. I did a lot of those things, but what I say, it wasn't about what I lost, it's about what I gained. And what I gained was my self-confidence back. I gained my, the self-esteem that I lost in being unsuccessful and not feeling good about myself and looking in the mirror and kind of being ashamed. I gained my swagger back. but most importantly, what I gained is the knowledge that if I set my goals on something, set my sights, and I work my rear end off to do it, I can accomplish anything. And that transcended fitness, and it permeated every other part of my life. And so when we, after much time on our knees, we were able to actually be very fortunate to get invited to hear about this thing that Carl Dyko had an idea to do. So he flew my wife and I out to California, and we sat in a room. And he told us all this stuff. And in my mind, I'm like going, oh crap, they're going to take our baby that we've had so much passion with, and things that we really love doing and loved helping people, and they're going to taint it with this MLM. I was like, what are they doing? But I knew two things. I knew one thing, that these products worked. I knew two things. I knew Carl would not steer us in the wrong direction. I believed in the people who steered this ship. Believed it then. I believe it even more now. And so I said, you know what? I'm at least going to get 25% off my products. And if I keep selling things to people, I sold like 30 programs already prior to that, free. So that if I can get a paycheck and at least pay for some of my stuff, like my recovery drink and vitamins, that's going to take a big load off our shoulders. That was in January 2007 when we started. And I can sit up here and tell you right now that, it's the most amazing thing that ever happened. And it is a true blessing. And, because since then, I was able, in January 2007 we started. We actually received our first paycheck April 2007. I quit my job in October 2007. When you're making $20,000 a year, it's not too much. You can find that change in your couch. But
19,000 more.
So anyway, I say that because that was my goal. My goal was actually to leave my job in February. I was able to accomplish it in October. Then we set new goals. After doing that, it was like, okay, now I want to see what it's going to take in order to reach the six-figure mark. I reached that in February of 2008. Making 6 figures a year. Making over $2,000 a week. Fast forward all that to making, if you add my wife and my business together, we've made well over $1.5 million in 4 years. And so, I don't sit up here and tell you that to impress you because I don't drive a Mercedes. I don't live in a big fancy house. I don't do things like that because that's not what it's about. The only reason I sit up here and tell you that we have done that well is, number one, we were given an opportunity and we took it and ran with it. And number two, I had to help a lot of people in order to be that successful. I had to help a lot of people get in the best shape and feel better about themselves, get healthy. I had to help my mother lose 72 pounds and get off all of her blood pressure medicines. Cool. I had to help Francis become a 2-star diamond. He's one of my coaches. I'm the interesting guy. I had to help Chris and Alan and John and James and Stephanie and Ria and Charles. I had to help these people to do all that they could do and more. I had to help them get what they want in order for me to get everything that I want. I'm not done because they're not done. But it took taking that, and it took grabbing that opportunity that I had in front of me and running with it. And you have that opportunity now too. Because if you're a guest in this room, guys, somebody loved you enough to invite you here. Somebody believed in you enough to invite you here. That's why you're here. You could easily be staying home watching, TiVo Bachelorette from last night. But you're not. Which I don't understand. It's true love. It's something. But seriously, somebody believed in you enough to invite you here. And so you've got decisions that are up to you. Because, guys, you heard these stories. I mean, you can't look. Michael. Look at the way Michael carries himself. I remember him a few months ago, and the way he carried himself. But now he walks a little straighter, chest up, held a little high, chin up higher. He loves how he feels and how he looks. And he's not afraid to tell people about it. And Veronica, she's going to get a blessing because of what she's doing with herself and with her body. Those types of things like that. You want to talk about what this business is about? It's about that stuff. Taria, I had a great opportunity to spend an hour with her a little bit earlier to hear her story. And what her passion is because of her past is amazing. But the most amazing thing is what she's doing with her mom. And being able to bless her mom every day. You know how cool it is? I've got an 11-year-old and 7-year-old, and when my kids get down there and do Kimpo with me, or they do Asylum with me, even we do MMA training, if we wrestle, if we do things like, you know how much of a blessing it is for me to get to do that? That's what Taria's doing with her mom. That's what's awesome about this. I can go on and on. The whole list of people up here. Francis. He means too much to me, both emotionally, personally, and financially, if he doesn't make it home after work. So you don't think I'm working my butt off to get him out of his job? So, that is what you have the opportunity to do in people's lives by becoming a Beachbody coach. It's not all about how many zeros you can get at the end of your check every week, even though those are nice. It's not about how much weight you can lose. It's not about what type of car you drive. It's not about what type of house you live in. It's about how many people you can bless and how many people you can be a part of their lives and really, really spend time making it better. We have the opportunity because all of us are sitting here breathing. All of us are sitting here, hearts beating, and I'm looking around, and except for guys and gals with jeans on, everybody's got both legs. Everybody's got both arms. We're blessed, guys. Spent time in Japan. Spent 2 weeks out there with Tony Horton and Mark Briggs, working out with soldiers who serve our country. And I got to visit hospitals out there, people that were in pretty bad shape. I go to Germany, and I go to Europe in October, and we're going to spend time at Remstad. You think we're going to see some stuff there? Guys, we have, and we have the opportunity to give back and help people, and because we are blessed. And so, if you're a guest here and you got the opportunity to see all this, and you've kind of been wondering what it's all about, here's my thing: jump in. Even if it's on blind faith, jump in. Grab a hold of the person that invited you. Grab hold by the collar and say, "You teach me or else." I want to know what I've got to do in order to make it happen. And then just go for it. Because if you do, it could be the absolute best ride of your life. And if you don't, it could be some of the worst regret that you've ever had. My biggest fear is that I didn't touch enough people in this lifetime. And so I think with this, you have the opportunity to touch not only 1, 2, 3, 4 people. You have the opportunity to touch thousands. I know I've been able to, but I'm not done yet. And I know that you guys aren't done yet. And if you get involved in this team here and experience the energy that you have here on a weekly or regular basis, there will be no way you can fail. It's too good of an opportunity. The brand name is too big. The tools are too good. And the people driving this ship are amazing for you to fail. Too good to fail. So I hope you do take this chance. I hope you do take the opportunity. And then just go out and try to bless people. And hold on, man. It's a great ride. But we're not done yet.